So here's what we have to understand, right? So with the change to Syndra, she now has a stacking passive system that rewards you for doing combat and gives you mana as a result of proccing the Splinter effect. But with the change to Q, the cooldown is extremely high now, but it does have a upgraded enhanced form that gives you 2 charges, which means your level 6 spike is significantly better because you're now able to self-sufficiently combo. But as a result of this, your laning level 1 through 3 is weaker at all stages because you are no longer able to weave in auto Q auto, and stat check people. So with this change, Aerie is kind of not as important anymore because you have self-setup, so you can go for electrocute. There's a world where Aerie will just be better anyways because you're allowed to chip poke people out without committing. The reason why electrocute was situational is because it didn't give you enough damage to kill people even if you had it. But now that you're so focused on proccing 2 hits with your passive effect, I feel like it's just better to run electrocute. So be trying that. And once again, there's really no incentive to queuing level 1 outside of just doing chip damage like you normally would, but there's no way to proc Splinter until you have 2 skills. So we're going to use our positioning advantage to really just force them off of the wave. And realistically, I'm not too mad about the 7-second change for most matchups because sometimes, even if you have the skill available, doesn't mean you can accurately use it. That's like the thing with Lucidity Boots and Sork Boots. Now, this does mean in a lot of stat check matchups or situations where you would all-in people just by running them down with Qs, you can't do that anymore. But you can still see that I'm able to apply pressure consistently in a meaningful way, even without having the 4-second cooldown. And that's just because I'm taking advantage of last hit windows and I'm forcing them to walk forward for trades. And that's something that you can still do accurately. Now, it is significantly weaker, I will give you that. In the span of a 10-second fight, you would probably miss out on 2 Qs, which would be equivalent to maybe 150 damage. But that just means that you have to slightly change the way that you play in exchange for a really amazing level 6 spike, which I don't mind personally. But we'll find out, because this is my first actual game of the Syndra PBE. But you see, we haven't really used our Splinter yet. I don't really feel like using my skills offensively like that, but still lots of damage. And from this point onwards, we actually do have like kill threat here, so I'm going to go and look for a ward on Raptors. Raptors are gone, so I'm assuming that he's on top side at blue buff, which means we could just hover bottom. Just kidding, this guy actually doesn't give a fuck. And I think with red buff slow, we actually got saved by that minion. That was actually huge. But with red buff slow, we might be able to get her just by picking up W again. Unless... yeah, we're just not fast enough. Yeah, this guy actually did 3 camp and then tried to come around, and he came around the other way. It's kind of confusing. Alright, we're gonna let the wave slow push to us since she's recalling in front of us. She just got read like a book, unfortunately. But she basically hardcore loses if she doesn't interrupt my recall, so I feel like she would go for it, so just blinded it. But as you can see, we're currently half of the way towards our Q upgrade, and that is pretty important to understand, is that when you get double charges of your Q, you have a lot more power than you normally would with Syndra. But there is a individual 1-second CD between casting. I haven't had any mana issues, but I'm also not missing any skull shots, so there's really no way for me to tell just yet how meaningful the mana regen is from Splinter. Now, traditionally, you would maybe go Lost Chapter here just for the additional mana and wave clear, but I always opt to go for Dark Seal on a scaling... not a scaling champion, but such a snowballing emphasis champion like Syndra. Boots allows me to maintain distance with no flash, and of course Amp Tome just is extra AP damage. I don't think going Lost Chapter is good here, just because I really don't care about the wave clear, and I'm just focusing on enabling more aggression. Is Syndra a Void champion? I think she's from whatever Mount... Tall or something. I don't even remember what the name is. I'm probably saying a fucking Warcraft name right now. But we need to cold the wave a little bit. We just need to make sure that doesn't crash into my tower so that we don't just lose a bunch of minions for free. I just want to maintain this position because Akali can't really walk into me right now. Because in order to do so, she has to walk up really far in lane. That makes it dangerous for her. But it also means I'm not really getting any stacks right now. I do end up losing cannon off that, which is probably not the greatest. But 24 stacks at 5 minutes. We're about to hit level 6. I kind of had to guess that I'd have 40 stacks at 5 minutes. Before I actually played Syndra, so I'm completely wrong. I'm at 25 even while playing pretty decently, so... that, or I could also be really ahead in terms of XP just because, you know, getting 2 kills. That could also be it. But we're slow pushing towards it right now, so in order to defend ourselves, we're going to drop a ward whenever you're going towards the enemy tower and you're going to be overextended on the map. I think we do see that there is somebody bot side, though. But I'm going to continue to slowly build up this wave, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to all-in her under tower. And if I do kill her, then she's obviously going to lose this massive wave. Unfortunately, I just miss every fucking last hit, so... Alright, here it is. Also, this new skin is absolutely gorgeous. Now, the one thing I do not like so far is the E decal. Whenever you slow somebody, it looks really ugly for some reason. I thought I could get Ignite off before, but unlucky. She was staying on top of the ball, so I thought I'd just get a free, like, 900 damage nuke, but... She loses this wave anyways, guys, because she is not... You know, she doesn't have enough HP to actually stay for the minions. So overall, it is a win-win. It sucks that we don't get the kill, but... Denying 3 to 2 minion waves as a result of it is always a great outcome. We get 2 plates, 320 kill, or 20 gold, which is basically equivalent to a kill. And we're just going to push this and then reset as well. I actually could have played for this if I had my stun. That's my bad. Just going to pop the Ignite. If she runs into the bush, he's dead because of... Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm greeting. I know. I could have just walked away. He's running towards the bush. Rengar will get him 100%, but there's something inside of me that just screams to kill myself. It's just like the aggro player in you. It's always greed. Jackfruit 69. Have you guys actually tried Jackfruit? My stream died? Yeah, unlucky. My bad. Currently 37 stacks at 7 minutes. I feel like that's pretty slow, honestly. Because you get 5 per level up, which means I've gotten 30 from leveling. So I've only proc Splinter 7 times. And actually, you know what? I missed cannons. So the fact that I missed cannons slowed me down by probably a minute or so. So it's really, really important that you land cannons, because cannons is what makes the difference between 30 seconds to 2 minutes, in fact, probably. But we see Udyr at top side of the map because he walked on vision, so we're kind of aware that he's above us. Kidding, I didn't get a splinter effect. She actually sidestepped it. Senna's still back in lane, so we're a little bit fine on that one. But the reason why I'm hovering on this side of lane is to protect myself from Udyr, since we know where he is generally. And once we do this combo, we walk away and create distance because I no longer have any cooldowns to work with. And this is where the game changes. We now have our upgraded Q. You can see a little decal for being able to stack, but also, we max W now. So as a result of the PvE, or the Midscope change, you can take a look. You get absolutely nothing from putting points in Scatter of the Week besides more damage, whereas you get more CD on W, you get more slow. It's just literally better in every way to put points into W right now. It's actually disgusting how good this looks. Bruh. No, I actually have to flash. That's crazy. If I get one more Q, she's actually dead, but I missed, unfortunately. Now, the slow here actually might save my life. Dude, the E-slow is actually huge. What the fuck? That's crazy. I thought I'd get hooked for sure. I might just let you die. I'm sorry. I'll block it for you if you want. Wait, Rengar's here? We can actually play for this? I got the stun, but that's pretty much all I can do in this context. Nice try, my bad. That's kind of a 4v1 situation just because I'm disrespectful. My bad, maybe. How does Syndra gain stacks? Syndra gains stacks every time she hits a player twice with abilities. So either 2 abilities, leveling up, or killing a siege minion. Every champion has an individual cooldown of 8 seconds, which means if you're team fighting, you can proc it multiple times just by hitting 2 players at the same time. Which is pretty nice, all things considered. How do you feel about the changes on Syndra? It does change the dynamic that I really liked early game about being super oppressive. But I think that she still spikes incredibly early, and that's something that you want to play around. I obviously have not done a great job so far of enabling my unleashed power setup, but I'll show you guys an example. It's hard to say because you gotta remember that Akali has one of the highest base MRs in the game, so she is a little bit... She's a little bit different than other mages in that capacity. We did get the Splinter there. But 64 mana right now at level 8 is actually pretty fucking good. I got a Rengar behind me, so... The big downside is that you're no longer able to get a really short E cooldown, but you're only losing a second as a result of it, so... It honestly doesn't even matter. Okay, maybe we just go for a roam top play here at this point. We're losing to a top Blitzcrank. I love PB. Yo, he actually interrupted the leap. That's huge. Wait, did they fix that? You're supposed to be able to EQ for terrain if you do it at big enough pace, but... He's dead to ignite, so we're fine. If you EQ true terrain, it's supposed to go all the way through with the ball. Also, I don't think you can EQ anymore. Nope, I think it's bugged on PB. I don't think that will make it to the live client, but... something to consider. If they changed that, it would be absolutely trash. Had no damage in your ultimate. That shouldn't happen because you're actually getting more balls in your ult combo. You do lose 20 base damage, and you lose 3% AP ratio, but as a result of having a Dark Spear charge system, you're getting additional ball in your ult, which means another spear involved in the combo. So maybe you're just not getting fed enough, but I mean, you're also getting 15% total AP eventually, so... Okay, I feel like the E's bugged out of this fucking world, honestly. Alright, so we maxed out our W, so it's now enhanced to do 17.5% true damage, which is pretty fucking good. Now, the thing is, the original version was 20% true damage, which means that in order to break even after the nerf, you have to have 400 AP, which is easy to do once you get 120 stacks for the 15% AP increase, but it does directly nerf the W power early game because it would be too strong with all the extra benefits we got from this buff. So it makes sense. Another thing to consider is that a lot of your skills require balls to be pretty much doable, which is why the QCD was so relevant. That's why Orianna has the same exact playstyle feel. So having a longer CD on your Q is meaningful in a lot of ways. But holy shit, I have 2.4k gold and I haven't reset. I'm rolling. I'm too busy talking to chat that I just forgot to spend my money. I'm sure people who are watching the video are just like, oh, mega pissed off at me. Alright, so we're gonna go Shadow Flame. The reason why Shadow Flame is probably a significantly better purchase than before is because of the true damage on your W. This is important to understand that because Shadow Flame has a lot of AP on it, raw AP, it gives you more true damage on W, better AP ratios and all that, but you're not losing as much to MR itemization because you have the true damage. In the past, you would only get your W upgrade at level 18, basically. But now you're getting it much earlier on, basically segmenting your damage so that you don't have to do it that early. Because if you go Shadow Flame second, Defensive Item third, you're not really getting Void until 4th item. I'm gonna let you die, actually. Or at least I tried. I wonder how much this does. It does 321 plus 60, so 400 damage and a 40% slow almost. Like, not bad at all. I kind of wanted to hit the ultimate upgrade, though. I feel like that's going to be really fun. But currently 62 stacks at 14 minutes. I wonder what that is in comparison to Victor upgrades. Victor gets 25 per kill, so maybe that would have been a nice change as well. Rewarding you for playing aggressively early. Yeah, so essentially they changed all the base icons, and then the icons get changed when you get a kill. Well, I actually did not get that. But you can see a self-setup combo like that, pretty fucking good. I'm dead out of my mind. I do think the E is 100% bugged. I don't think there's any way people should be walking through those max range stuns. But that's just a PBE thing. It's not reflective of Syndra being bad or anything. That's probably the second time it's happened this game where the E just blatantly doesn't work. EQ interaction? This is QE that I'm talking about right now. I know the EQ is bugged out of this world. I do like the upgraded icons. I don't really like the base icons that much, actually. I think the upgraded ones look really nice. Maybe I'm just nostalgic and I like the fact that the other ones were so low res that they looked kind of ominous in a way. But these look nice, the upgraded variants. We're currently 5 splinters away from the increased cone. You can see it right now, pretty big. And they'll cover even more range. Baseloff, thanks for following, appreciate it. I haven't really been taking advantage of the splinter mechanic. I keep forgetting because I'm so ingrained to play Syndra in a specific way. But playing for 2-hit combos... But that's like really nice. You see that? You QE and then you WQ on top of that. Like, that's crazy. And because it's a 1 CD between casting, you can pretty much cast like 3 in the span of 7 seconds. Which is pretty meaningful, actually. How long does it usually take it for it to come live? From PBE? Honestly, it could be any time. I have no way of knowing what their actual planned release date is. Maybe 1 or 2 more cycles? Could be anything, pretty much. Brother. Holy shit, that true damage. I did not feel like I would kill them off a QW, but maybe Luden's proc was a little deceptive on that one too. Also, you're supposed to pick up the buff because there's a hidden buff on Syndra W. When you throw blue, it resets the CD slightly, and when you throw red, it actually applies red buff. It's pretty neat. Honestly, we're just gonna do a fucking ult combo at this point.
My god, he's a simp.
Some guy in the YouTube comments of my Syndra Midscope kept telling me RE would be the best possible fucking combo. Like, there, it's pretty good, the RE combo, I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like using the execute is just gonna make it more about casting it mid-combo. No cap. I should probably go for Zianni's this game, just because they have a lot of AD damage, but set kind of did pop off right there. But currently 75 true damage. We have broken even at 325 on W, which is interesting because it's supposed to be 1.5% per 100. So does it actually apply every set quantity? I don't know. What do you mean? Huh? What do you mean, huh? Max 1.3. Oh, I'm actually dead unless you guys get the kill. Nice. We had a little bit of schmovement at the beginning, and then I kind of just win traded. Chat, you confuse me sometimes, I'm gonna be honest. But I also confuse myself because I'll say something and immediately forget what I say 5 seconds later. It's like impossible to have a conversation with somebody who's this stupid. We're currently 7 stacks away of Splinter from our ultimate. Actually, they forfeited. Unlucky. Problematic in a way. Honestly, I'm gonna be real, guys. I feel like being able to play for W and having consistency of E no matter what just makes this champion so much more fluid. Obviously, I'm uncomfortable playing with it because I'm so used to the Q-oriented playstyle, but this is a meaningful change to Syndra, and it makes her buffable and nerfable. It's no longer pro play dependent because she's less like stat checky. I know that we're losing identity as a result of this change because of the people's obsession with her early level 1 through 4, but you have to understand that this just makes her more fun in a way. Having little mini games in your mechanics, like I enjoy Veigar ultimate, I enjoy, Veigar passive, Victor passive. I like that it's not an infinite scaling passive like Center Veigar. I like that it's a meaningful addition to her gameplay. Her old passive was basically irrelevant, all things considered. And you saw that I hit those upgrades way before I would have maxing those skills traditionally. So, grand total damage-wise, probably 19,000 at 18-minute game's not bad. And we are running Electrocute, which is different than what we normally would. Here are the rune stats for this. But I feel like Relentless Hunter is like really valid in her gameplay with the way it is currently. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I will be posting a few more Syndra Midscope videos. Take care.